So if you'll remember my first video, Puppy, I mentioned somewhat in passing about explaining light and color. I kept thinking about it, so I figured I might try it. Definitely not an art teacher, so we'll see how this goes. But I decided that we should probably use a relevant person to describe light and color. So I found this image. So let's go ahead and get rid of all the stuff we don't need so that we don't have to look at it. I think that might benefit everyone. Bam. That's all we're gonna need. Sometimes when you're looking at it, you just go duplicate the layer. Then you'll have a copy just in case you ruin one of them. Control U, take all the saturation out of it, bam, you got a black and white copy. You start looking at it and seeing your actual values. You can go in here and color pick to see exactly what it is. You can see in this jowl, the light is collecting in this crease here. And it's the same with the other side. And yet this part is heavily in shadow because it's creasing. Just like, almost like this part on your nose. Same concept. Now, if we were going to do a study of this thing, I'm not very good, so I still always start with drawings. Some artists just straight up go into color. And I think it's a good exercise to try every once in a while, mix up your procedure to try and get yourself out of your bubble. Try and get yourself out of your bubble, your comfort zone, so you can go straight into color with this. Right now, I'm going to see what this weird chin thing is. And these bumps that like radiate up the jaw. I mean, it almost looks like a scrote. I'm not super familiar with very many scrotes. But generally, I mean, that would look like a nutsack. Toss in this bottom lip shadow. And then I just start basically blocking in where the shadows are. This thing's gross. Trying to stay professional, but it's disgusting. I thought about attaching the top side of Ivanka's head up in here. Yes, we'll find out. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Art is subjective. Can do whatever you want. For now, we'll leave it as that. Listening to music on my headphones, I've got this weird thing where like I can't stand silence at all for any long period of time. I hate it. I start going crazy. I don't know. It's almost like a panic attack. I think it's more I just don't like being alone with myself. I don't know if there's any psychologists out there. I'm sure they could tell you what that means. All right, getting close to where I think we'll have enough. Start blocking in some heavy values. I don't know if this is an ear anymore. I think that's like this part of his ear. I don't know anatomy, so we'll just say that's where it is. And this is like a fat, dippy earlobe. I think this weird thing back here is part of his hair. Yeah, alright. That's gross. Seriously looks like some sort of Star Wars monster, alien, right now. Like we could just add an eye. President One Eye looks a lot more friendlier, even with his gross neck. Alright, so you can see the orange that's going on in here, but when you really look right here at the bottom of the neck, you can almost see this triangle of red coming from the tie. So the light's coming down, bouncing off of this tie and hitting the jowls. The jowls. These three chins are being highlighted by the red tie. Doesn't look like it's really hitting too much of the suit. Looks like there's some reflective color coming in from whatever is over here. Maybe some in this shadow. It's weird, you don't really see much of the orange coming down onto the white shirt. It's interesting. Maybe it's soaking up a lot of the light would be appropriate. Alright. So on my drawing layer, I'm going to set it to multiply. So then I can paint under it. And you'll see what that does. I think I'm going to use a highly texture brush, as you can see all these like dimples in the main chin. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So, I mean, when you're doing studies, you could color pick in here to see what the color is going to be. Because you're just doing studies, so it don't matter. You can do what you want. So I'm going to fill this in. Really rough. I'm going to go ahead and toss some of this red in right now. That is bouncing off. I'm going to grab his pink tie color. Looks pink to me. Fill in this jacket. Really quick fill in. Oh, I fucked up already. Bam, undo. Sometimes when I go back to drawing traditionally, just with paper and pencil, I'll say undo in my head whenever I lay down a shitty line. It's always super annoying because there is no undo in real life. I'm just gonna fill some of it in. His ear, if this thing in here is in fact his ear, it doesn't really have any color to it. There's no blood going to the ears. This weird pink mouth. Fill it in. The inside of his mouth is like a black hole, so I'll just fill that in. A little bit of underteeth show. The shadows look kind of like they're filled with red. A little bit. They're kind of more so brown. Normally I tend to put a lot of color in my shadows, but here it doesn't. I think it would give more life to the neck than is appropriate. If you know what I mean. So I think I'll stick with the browns. So basically I'm going into those lines I created and filling them in with the shadows that I can see up here. Now this is just one way I work, like I was saying earlier. Mix it up. Sometimes I'll do entire paintings completely different than I did before, because it's whatever feels right at the time to me. Sometimes I need to draw more of it out. Sometimes I just go straight into it. Sometimes I work in value, kind of like our black and white copy of this. I'll paint all of that in first, and then you can go on top of that with a soft color or a soft light and start adding color in that way. That kind of stopped being as much fun as it used to be. Alright, some of this red in the middle and bottom chin needs to move over into some of the cheeks. Now most of that will get covered up anyways, but you want it under there so you can go in with light touch, and it's like the blood underneath your skin. You can see through it. I'm gonna pull this directly out. This part looks like it's the lightest, hitting right under the first chin. And then a little bit of a lighter highlight moves out from there. The lip has a highlight. Now, normally, when they teach light and shadow, you'll see them use spheres, like this, and then you'll see the light hits right here, but then down here it's going to cast a shadow, but then the light is bouncing off of the ground up back into here. That's a horrible description. That's okay. You can see that anywhere. I'm going to clean up this top. And I need a good brush to get these chin dimples in here and highlights. This is bringing me very little joy. It's kind of making my stomach hurt. This is a bad idea. Alright. Now, let's go through and fill in these darks. There's this weird one that's like hella dark. Like no light is getting in between the third and second chin. But there's still this light highlight that's bouncing off of this super red onto the middle chin. Which kind of seems impossible. Like all of this gizzard, is that what the turkey necks are called? Seems like it should almost all be in shadow, but it's not. There's some weird stuff going on in there. Let's see. That's pretty dark. Not much light. This tie is like Christmas red. Alright, let's see. I really want to keep the lines on there. It just kind of looks better. I think I will pop up some of these shadows to give it some more depth. I'm just blocking this entire shadow. And then yeah. Yeah, that's looking better. You can lean back so you can see better. You can also squint at it, make sure your values are in check. I feel like I'm missing something. I may just be going cross-eyed looking at this though. It's very upsetting. Alright. Whoops. Clean up the outside. It's looking pretty good. Sometimes I'll just go over the lines and just paint over them. Because, I mean, in traditional, that's what you would do. You'd lay down your lines and then just paint over everything. Sometimes I like making digital feel as traditional as possible. I have no idea if any of this is informative. Like I said, I'm not a teacher. Thought this would be funny, but I haven't laughed once. It's more upsetting than anything else. Gotta fix that triangle of red we were talking about in the beginning. Coming from the tie. I think I might hit it real hard with some of that color. Just because I want to. I think it'll fit up. Wasn't in the picture. That's okay. What else can we make? What else can we add to this to really pop? I'm just making stuff up. I think giving it more flesh up top might help. Because flesh is coming up with fingers. But what is it holding on to? Hopes, dreams. Like any other biological creature, perhaps. Or perhaps not. Perhaps there is no reason to any of it. Let's hit some major highlights. I think that'll help. Let me check this dude out again. Whoops. That's alright. Pop in that highlight. Softly punch in some texture. Because there's a lot of, like, it's not cellulite. I don't know what it is. It's going on all over this. Like under the orange and the makeup. I don't think I can look at these people anymore. I was gonna add Ivanka, but I don't think I can. That's a bit unsettling, as is. I hope you learned about light and color. I don't know if I did. I don't know if I'll do something like this again. It's upsetting. It's like willing yourself to do something and stare at something you hate. I knew I wanted to be an artist. And I think I was 3 or 4. And I saw comic book, and it was the death of Superman. I'll put it right there. And it was this amazing cover, but it was like super gory. Like Supes was dead in Lois Lane's arms, and I was like, somebody drew that. That's amazing. And I knew right then. I was like, I wanna be a drawer. And from then on, I've like had my goal set out of what I wanted to be in life, and it's still basically the same. I don't think I'm as morbid at all. That's why I think doing something like this is fairly upsetting to me. This might be the most evil thing I've painted in a very long time. But anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this sort of thing, let me know in the comments if it was funny. I don't know, I didn't laugh. I thought it was gonna be a lot funnier than it was. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. See you guys soon.